I'm personal trainer Yuji. Today I had a really great back training session and I want to introduce it here. The exercise that worked really well today is the one-handed row. It goes something like this. From here, it looks like this, like this, like this. It's an underhand grip on the dumbbell. I'm just doing the one-handed row with an underhand grip, and honestly, I haven't done this much before, but just by changing my grip to underhand, it's incredibly effective. Oh, I can really feel it in my back. This is great, so I wanted to introduce this. First of all, what I just did was with the dumbbell in an underhand grip. Even though it's underhand, I'm keeping it completely horizontal. This exercise is not performed at a completely 90-degree angle to the bench or body, but rather at a 45-degree angle. The one-handed row performed at this angle is incredibly effective for the back, especially for the latissimus dorsi. Although I don't usually do this exercise, I thought to myself, maybe I should try the one-handed row. It seems like it could be really beneficial, especially with the underhand grip and at a 45-degree angle. It's like a feeling of stretch resistance, isn't it? The resistance you feel when stretching from this position was incredibly good. Oh, this is something quite unique. It's a sensation that you can't get from other exercises, and it's really effective for building the latissimus dorsi. I thought it was really great. In terms of training exercises, I felt it was definitely among the best. I really recommend it. Well, this can obviously be done as long as you have a bench and dumbbell, so it can be done at the gym, but you can also do it at home. And this is what I mean. Well, you can do this on a flat surface, or you can do it on a flat bench like this, or you can also do it on an incline. However, when you do it on an incline, it feels more comfortable regardless of your height. It can be done comfortably for any height. But for now, I will introduce it on a flat surface. This is the reverse 4, 15-degree one-handed row, and there are 2 key points to note. I will make sure to explain those 2 points clearly. Well, first of all, when you grab this, it's obvious, but the key point is the 45-degree angle. This is a good point. Now moving on from here, it's about the wrist. To explain the position of the wrist without the dumbbell, it goes like this. When you grip, I want you to grip firmly. Gripping firmly means not just holding tightly, but rather having your palm flat against it and wrapping your fingers around it securely. So I want you to have this kind of feeling. Don't grip it loosely. If you grip it tightly, both your wrists will become rigid, both in the front and the back. So you can maintain this rigid state, but if you grip it halfway, it can lead to an awkward position. This makes it easier to use this side, so to prevent that, you need to grip it firmly. Alternatively, you can use your fingertips. With your fingertips, you should grip the part of the dumbbell bar. In that part, you need to push with this part of the bar. Pushing here is the most important aspect. If you do this without thinking and just go through the motions, you'll make mistakes. By wrapping your fingertips around this part of the bar and pushing it this way, you'll see significant improvement. So first, focus on your grip and how you use your fingertips, making sure to pull with all 4 fingers while pushing this way. The sensation is very important. Now, regarding the elbow, the height of the elbow is crucial when performing the exercise. When you do it this way, the elbow should never go beyond the body. If you want to raise it that high, as I mentioned earlier, it's not about pulling this way, but rather pulling towards this side. Basically, the latissimus dorsi is not attached from this side to that side. The latissimus dorsi originates from this area of the spine. Since it's attached here, when you think about contracting this, it naturally comes this way. Because it comes this way, if you want to contract this, the root of the arm gets pulled, and rather, the root of the arm here, the movement of the dumbbell alone causes this to move this way, which is a natural movement. It's not just up, rather it's being pulled diagonally upward and backward. So, it's not just up, but rather a sensation of moving diagonally up and toward the back. However, when we say backward, it means all of it is directed backward. When you twist your body, it should remain straight. And you should feel as if you are pulling the base diagonally upward on this side. In doing so, your elbows should never rise above your body. The elbows must not exceed the body. It's important to note that raising your elbows higher does not necessarily lead to better contraction. The contraction is about whether you can achieve a strong contraction primarily in the latissimus dorsi. And once that contraction is firmly completed, that's it. Because if you raise it any higher, it won't really contract anymore. At this point, if you go any further, you're just using your shoulder as a reference and bouncing it up. It's already raised, but it's not a contraction of the latissimus dorsi. The contraction of the latissimus dorsi ends when you feel that tightness. Honestly, if you keep holding the dumbbell and try to go further, it won't be much. The arm from the shoulder to the elbow won't even be horizontal, and at this point, the contraction feels completely finished. What's important is the stretching sensation from this point onward. This feeling of stretching, along with the resistance from the back muscles, is what makes this exercise so effective. The sensation of contraction and the resistance while stretching is incredibly beneficial in this movement. It really provides a similar feeling to using high-quality machines like the hammer strength, which is what makes this exercise so valuable. Therefore, focusing on stretching and resistance rather than just contraction is key. Please remember this. So, since it's the one-handed row, you only use the right half of your spine, not the other parts. You don't do it with other parts, but you should firmly support yourself with your right foot and keep your left knee positioned so that it is behind your foot. Perform the exercise at a 45-degree angle, gripping the dumbbell in a reverse grip without raising your elbow too high. Focus on the contraction of your back muscles, mainly the latissimus dorsi. Once this contraction is complete, take a deep breath for the resistance time. Exhaling deeply is the resistance. Exhale. Exhale. However, do not round your spine down. Maintain the feeling of your vertical arch while resisting as much as possible. Pull down as much as you can, allowing your shoulder blades to move and expand to their maximum extent. You can stretch this far. However, you must absolutely maintain the feeling of grip. If you have that feeling of grip, remember the fingertips from earlier. If you have a good grip, the resistance felt in the latissimus dorsi remains, and that's the key point. From here, you can really engage the muscles effectively. Normally, it might feel like you're losing tension at this point, but by firmly gripping with your fingertips, you can stretch this far while still feeling the back resisting and maintaining tension. This allows for a sense of elongation and the ability to strengthen the muscles. Therefore, breathing is also important. When lowering the weight, take a deep breath. As you continue, the attack extends further, which is amazing. It's simple. Just changing the hand position in a regular one-arm row makes a huge difference. I only focused on this grip, but it feels completely different. When doing a standard vertical one-arm row, I personally feel that way. And generally, I notice the same with the people I teach. You really use this a lot here. It feels like you're using this area quite a bit. Basically, as I mentioned earlier, the idea is to pull the base over here. This is the foundation for the one-arm row, but it seems that feeling is quite hard to grasp. It often feels like you end up using this part from the tip and pulling a lot here. Furthermore, when you raise your elbow, it tends to feel like you're colliding 3 times, but honestly, when you do it in reverse, it becomes much easier to engage this area with the vertical position of the humerus. However, when you do it in reverse, this one head, it's really difficult to get into a state where you can't use it, so doing it this way is quite challenging. Rather, it tends to lead to an arm card situation. However, when you align vertically, it becomes easier to use the one-arm row. This is very easy to use and feels natural. When a person is in this state, they can't use it at all. I'm not using my arms. I'm using my back to pull. This makes it easier to feel the contraction and the stretch. Until now, the vertical straight one-arm row has been generally common in the world, you know. But honestly, I feel like you don't really need to do that. Doing the diagonal reverse one-arm row at a 45-degree angle is much more effective for the latissimus dorsi. It can create a broader range. For those who are training at home, if you don't have a pull-up bar like the one I have here, it can be quite challenging to effectively target the upper back. Creating that expansion can be difficult. This reversal exercise really allows for a significant stretch, and honestly, even after using it to this extent, you can still feel resistance in the latissimus dorsi. It's a great exercise for creating that V shape in the back, which I found to be very effective today. I genuinely want to recommend it with full confidence, so please incorporate it into your routine. I also plan to include it regularly in my back workouts. Of course, it's not just about the one-arm row at 45 degrees, but also, well, while doing the deadlift, it's important to maintain spinal alignment and also work on the middle area. If you're training at home, I think it's definitely a good idea to incorporate these 2 exercises. So, try combining 1 or 2 of them. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm also on Instagram, so please follow me there. This was First Aprenari.